What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are back with AOR Italian Grand Prix. This is part number 14 of the Season 3 Championship. Heading into this one, I'm feeling pretty confident. It's a track that I've always done really well at the past. It seems to be a circuit I know how to be fast at, and you know, setting up the car isn't too difficult as well, which definitely helps. But heading into this one, being that I'm a Ferrari driver, I thought I'd get in the spirit of the Italians and change my helmet to the Italian colours, because why not? Let's have a quick look at the driver's standings. New Zealand Ryan leads the championship by 9 points over Greek Master 99. DRC Jared P3. We're some 125 points behind, but we've had a string of 4 podiums in a row. 3rd place every single time. I'd love to be able to continue that, but at the same time, I'd love to be able to see if I can win this one. I feel pretty confident in my pace around here, so we'll see what happens. Qualifying now, you can see I was just about to start my first flying lap and then my DRS failed, and at a circuit like Monza, having that extra 10-20 kilometers an hour, however much it might be, is a huge deficit to have. So I decided to pull into the pit lane, see if it would fix the problem. Unfortunately, it did not. I went back out on the circuit, same set of tyres, a couple of minutes later, and the DRS issue was still there, which was really unfortunate. So now I have to set this lap without any DRS at all. So there we go, we crossed the line, and it is a 19.9. So about a second off the pace versus having DRS, which is absolutely huge. You want to be in the 18s on a good lap here in qualifying, so yeah, we lost about a second there, which is absolutely massive. Not to mention the time that we also lost just going into the pit lane and then going back out and committing to the lap without DRS, which is a bit of a setback. But here we are at the end of the session, or coming towards the end of the session. We come across the line with our first lap with DRS, and we do a 19.0, which is a lot more representative of where we belong in this field. We're currently sitting in P4 at the moment, but we still have a few more tenths to find, to be honest. I want to be in the mid-18s to really challenge for pole position. You can see we got a disallowed on that lap. Just ran a little bit too far wide at the exit of Ascari, and that was pretty much our lap. But thankfully, I've filled the car up for 2 laps, so we're going to go again. Fill out the tyres very, very briefly, recover a little bit of ERS, and we're going to go again. So here we go for the full hot lap of this Italian Grand Prix. I'm going to walk you guys through the lap. So coming into this, you want to be braking at the line that comes across the circuit. It's like after the 150 meter board turn in. I lost the back end a little bit there into turn 1, which almost made me disallow the lap, which would have been a disaster, to be honest. But thankfully we negotiate that fine. We're up by a tenth as we go through the first sector split into the middle sector chicane. Brake at the 100 meter board, 4th gear. You really have to mount the curbing here, and I tell you, when you get it right, it's so satisfying when you just glide over the curbs. It's quite a unique feeling. Through to Lesmo 1 and 2, 5th gear, downshifting. You can opt for 4th gear if you want to get the nose in. My best results, I feel like 5th is probably slightly better, but just depends on your personal preference. We're up by a tenth now as you go through to the 3rd sector now, 1/10. Purple as well, it seems. We're purple on pole position as well, so that's quite an interesting thing to note. But anyway, heading towards the final corner now, managing the ERS as best as I can, overtake to get the best top speed, and then down into hot lap to maximize the acceleration out of Parabolica. It's a nice run through there. Greek Master does an 18.5, which is bloody ridiculous. We come across the line and do an 18.9, so not quite the potential I was looking for, or I thought I could get in this qualifying session. Definitely lost out a lot of time at the start of the session, but the laps at the end there just weren't good enough. I should have been doing like an 18.7. I've done that a couple of times in practice, but you know, we're still on the 2nd row of the grid, which is not too bad. We've got a Williams 1-2. Ryan didn't have a good qualifying session. I think he was mentioning that his car probably wasn't quite the same as what it felt like in practice, I believe, but in any case, he's still in the challenging pack in P5. Being able to just be at the front and being in the slipstream of the cars ahead, you're definitely going to be in the game here. But getting ready for this race, we're going from the supers to the softs. It's the fastest strategy going around. We do have to stretch the supers quite far to get to that point, but we should be fine. 5 red lights, and away we go for this Italian Grand Prix. I was feeling very, very racy from the outset. I wanted to just get into it and get in amongst the leading pack here. You can see it's 3 wide now as we head into turn 1. Up the inside of Fens, who breaks early. Getting a bit of a squeeze through turn 2, and we've been completely squeezed off the circuit there, and down to P9. P9! After being almost second place through turn 1, we just got escorted off the circuit, which was unfortunate. It was like 3 wide at turn 1, so like, what can you do about that? Just a really frustrating set of circumstances that happened at turn 1. Maybe I should have backed off a little bit more, but anyway, we still have our front wing, we're still in the race. We just need to get on with the job now. Up the inside of Presby C into Lesmo 2, and that is job done potentially. Hopefully we can get some slipstream off the cars ahead to really pull me further ahead than Presby C, but I think he gives up the ghost and lets us have P8 there. So now we can move on with our race. DLG Gamble overshoots at Ascari. That's another free position for us. Next up is Master Berserk, and that'll be P6 for us if we can get the job done. So carving our way back through the field quite nicely, it must be said, but it's going to be absolutely imperative to slice through these guys as quickly as we can so that we can catch up to the leading pack. Here goes Laggy Person, who is fancying a move on us, and because I've got the slipstream, I think I'm going to edge ahead of him, and that'll be P7. He has a look to the inside, and I just moved the car over to the inside to make sure that he couldn't get the move done, and we could hold on to the position. So there we go. We're in the slipstream of Master Berserk. We got a nice exit there, so I think we should be able to get this guy up the inside into the middle sector chicane. And I don't imagine he'll fight this one too much. I think he probably knows that we've got a bit better pace, and he can use the slipstream to pull along with us. So we get the job done. Oh, Master Berserk spun out there behind us. I can tell you, because he was in my party, he told me exactly what happened. He was shuffling in behind me, and then...
No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
So he shuffled in behind me, and then Laggy Person shunted into the side of him and spun him out, and I think he might have got damage as well, so that was really unfortunate. Meanwhile, back at the front, this is lap 3. DRC Jared going out the inside of Greek Master, who just made a mistake in the middle sector chicane, and now Ryan is looking to make a move on him as well. So Greek Master having good pace at the start, but his consistency probably not quite up there as a match to his overall pace. But anyway, back to our race. You can see we're on the back of Roscoe Arm. You can see the leaders aren't getting away all too much. I've managed to recover quite a lot of time early on in this race, which has been very, very interesting. It would have been, it's just so interesting to see where I would have shaken up had I just been in the pack, in the slipstream, in the DRS, doing my thing. But anyway, we're making up the ground anyway, so we might be able to get back into the battle up the inside of Roscoe Arm into turn 1. Very simple move. The DRS and the slipstream basically did the job for me. All I had to do was slow the car down for turn 1, to be honest, and go about my business. But now we have clear air, and this is where we're probably going to struggle a little bit. We don't have anyone to work with in terms of slipstream and DRS, whereas all the other guys are towing each other along, saving a bit more fuel, saving a bit more ERS, and just leapfrogging each other without battling all too much. This is the most difficult part of F1 2018 league racing to deal with when you're out on your own and trying to make your own pace. It takes a toll on the car long term, so we'll have to maybe do a bit of fuel saving later. We're doing alright. We've still got 2.5 laps left of fuel, so we should be fine. I had to do the extra lap because Ryan came in on lap 10, which was the ideal lap to come in. I think I probably could have came in on lap 9, but honestly I was probably preferring to have fresher tyres for the end in case there's a safety car or anything like that. You saw what happened last week, so I just wanted to give myself the best chance in case some crazy stuff went down in the second half of this one, which could still happen. You never know what these guys are like. They do race very, very hard, and sometimes the limits are overstepped. But anyway, you can see we're closing in on the cars ahead. We're going purple to this lap, so this should be a fast lap, hopefully. Greek Master does a 21.9. We come across the line and do a 22.2. So I think our third sector wasn't great. Greek Master was absolutely flying through the third sector all weekend, and I'm not really sure where that came from, whether it be more ballast than us and still low downforce. It was rather weird, or maybe he's running 2 on the front wing. I was running like 1.5 wings, I think. So make of that where you will. But I think overall the setup was pretty good, to be honest. I was fast when I really got the lap together. But anyway, we're on the slipstream and DRS of Neon Trudeau. We just pulls into the pit lane there, gives us a bit of DRS, and this will be a good chance for us to set a fast lap again. See what we can do. Previous best is a 21.8. We'll use a bit more ERS and fuel to try and catch up. Greek Master was a good few seconds up the road. I think he's like 5 seconds or so. But I think the thing that was costing me was my consistency. I was fast, and when I got a lap together, I was purple and catching the cars ahead. But those laps were few and far between. I just would make a small mistake here or there, or maybe not manage my ERS to the best of my ability, and then I'd lose a second. Rather frustrating. You see, I do set the fast up at the Grand Prix there. So when I did hook it together, I was fast, but just lacking that tiny bit of consistency that separated me from the front guys. Or maybe it was just slipstream that was keeping these guys ahead of me. Anyway, Ryan made a mistake on lap 18. That kind of stuffed me over a little bit. I kind of panicked. I was like, oh god, where's the braking marker? Distracted by my teammate. Nearly went into the gravel trap myself. Ryan got squeezed out by Greek Master early on in the lap. I think he was pretty cheesed off about that. Then he was out of his rhythm, and then he just made a mistake. Plain and simple. Here goes Jared up the inside of Fens for the lead of the Grand Prix. There's 7 laps to go in this race, and just for context, Jared has a penalty, Fens has a penalty, but Greek Master does not. So on the basis of that, Greek Master is going to win this race unless he gets more warnings in the closing laps of this Grand Prix. Fens and now Jared starting to battle a little bit more, which is going to drag Greek Master into the fight. Up to this point, I was feeling like maybe I could chase down Greek Master, but then after that mistake with Ryan making his mistake, I lost a lot of time there, and then I realized that I'm not going to catch him, so I just cruised to the end. Made a mistake at the final corner, which you guys saw in the previous clip, and Ryan got past. And now I think we're just waiting for something to happen, maybe like Hungary a few races ago. These 3 are all locked in a very tight battle for the top 3. You never know, Fens or Jared or even Greek Master could all tangle, and me and Ryan could get a 1-2. How amazing would that be? But the chances of that happening twice in one season are pretty unlikely, I'm not going to lie. But here we are in the last lap of the Grand Prix. This is DRC Jared and Fens battling really, really hard into turn 1. And Jared gets a horrible run through there, overshoots, and now he's looking pretty vulnerable now as we head into the middle sector. But yeah, let's have a look at the fuel. He's in the negative. He's got enough ERS to pretty much push it to the maximum for the rest of this lap. It's going to be fuel that's the deciding factor, and the penalties. Up until this point, I still think Greek Master doesn't have a penalty, so he's looking pretty good in this race. But meanwhile, back to us. I had a little look at Ryan here up the inside. He was getting pretty nervous, but I've actually got 1 extra penalty than what he does, so there's no real point in trying to go for a move. We'd only be risking a potential fallout if that was the case. But Ryan's looking a little bit slow here. I think he was saving a bit of fuel. He was struggling a little bit in these closing laps, and then he actually just decides to let me go. So, hey-ho, thanks for the position. It's not going to count for anything because I am going to finish behind him anyway on the base of penalties. But here we go. Greek Master is going to take this one on the basis of penalties. DRC Jared is going to win the race on track, but it's not going to be enough. I think it will get in P2 with Fens in P3, but overall, not a great day for Ferrari, it must be said. Had the potential to do so much better, but things just didn't fall our way. So there we go, guys. That is the podium, and that is the race for the Italian Grand Prix. Like I said, not a great day for for Ferrari, but on the contrast, an awesome day for Williams, getting the 1-3 double podium. Greek Master now takes the lead of the championship once again, 4 points separating him and Ryan. DRC Jared, ever consistent in P2 there. He's only 34 points away from the lead of the championship. It would have been a huge moment for him to get the race win here and close in another 7 points, but wasn't to be. For me, pace was there, but incident at turn 1 completely screwed me over, and I was just too far back to do anything from there. So that was my race, the Italian Grand Prix. Next off, we're off to Singapore. Absolute pad paradise, or Ryan Paradise, as his pace is absolutely amazing there. From what I hear, Greek Master is pretty damn fast there, so it could be a shootout at the top for those two. Gunning for the win. Unknown as to whether Jared will be able to stay with them, or whether I'll be able to stay with them at all as well. So it'll be an interesting one. The championship takes another turn. This time it's in Greek Master's favour. There is 6 races to go in this championship. Actually 7. There's 7 races to go. And I have 2 left in AOR. So 2 races left to make my mark. Try and get a win. It'll be damn tough given the form of these guys. But I'm going to go out there and do the best job I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And until the next video, I'll see you next time.